Oil prices are pushing higher after the U.S. conducted strikes on two Iran-linked facilities in Syria. This is now fueling fears that the Israel-Hamas war may spark a broader conflict with the potential of disrupting global crude supplies. Global benchmark Brent rose above $89 a barrel to pare a weekly loss, while a West Texas intermediate climbed to $85 a barrel. Goldman Sachs analysts have kept their first quarter 2024 Brent crude price forecast at $95 a barrel, but have added that lower Iranian exports could cause baseline prices to rise by 5%. According to the bank, prices could jump 20% in the less likely scenario of an interruption of trade through the Strait of Hormuz, where 17% of global oil production transits. Now let's get more on this with Jamil Ahmad in Dubai. He's chief analyst at online trading brokerage GTC. Thank you for being with us. Jamil, is the Goldman Sachs scenario a likely scenario, in your opinion?
You never say never, Ludovica. However, it's unlikely given what we're seeing so far. Even if you look at the early price action this morning, yes, the oil price has risen by somewhat of $1, but that's a very small move given the oil price volatility that we have seen over the past two trading weeks. Generally speaking, if you look at price action from a medium and longer term perspective, given this very unfortunate and sensitive event that has played out in the past 2 weeks, actually oil prices have already reversed all of their gains following that really surprising event. That suggests that if you look at the institutional money and the asset managers, that actually over the longer term, investors right now are not concerned about this escalated into a wider blown situation. What we are seeing, as unfortunate, as difficult it is to watch, is not something completely new to the market, because it's not from an area of economic activity, nor is it from an area of global supply chains. If this did widen into a broader conflict, hopefully everybody can avoid that, then yes, we have some risks that we need to price in. But we shouldn't forget that this is a fluid and volatile situation. The price expectations and some of the outlooks from that have been published could be changed within moments and days. And really, we should have seen the oil prices continue their rally like gold did if institutional investors were really worried. And that suggests to me that, in fact, they're not worried at all.
They're not yet. Interesting, investors then hedging their bets for now. Jamil, voluntary supply cuts by Saudi Arabia and Russia, we know they will be in place until the end of the year, and now tightening markets globally, supporting oil prices as well. Will this change? Will oil-producing countries then adjust their output levels in these different scenarios that you were describing?
Ludovica, this is exactly the excellent point, and this is why we can't just look at one situation, because it's clear that oil producer nations, we don't need to even name names, but they have a bias and motivation to keep the oil price as high as possible. And what they can do, should there be an oversupply, should there be any sort of disruption to global supplies, they simply change their production output levels. And as we've seen in recent months, certain major oil producing nations can do this in the spur of the moment. They can do this without any information being provided beforehand at all. And I did expect and do expect that they will step in should something happen. Generally speaking, though, with oil prices being motivated to keep government revenues as high as possible, which means the oil prices need to remain high as well. That also shows that they will not be looking for a lower oil price. And yes, $95 might only be $7 or $8 away from the current valuations, but oil producing nations and those looking for fiscal benefits and financial results and so forth, they won't be uncomfortable at all should oil prices go above $100. And that is the magic number we were talking about even before this very tragic situation was unfolding in the Middle East just 2 weeks ago.